Hey guys, this is Anita. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my review of Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. The first half of this video is going to be spoiler free and the second half includes spoilers which focus on my issues and my analysis of open-ended storylines of this book. This is my first Murakami book. I went into this book without knowing anything about his writing. I wasn't expecting to be mesmerized by it, but I was mesmerized by it. The first half of this book, I was completely in the hypnotic state. In the second half, weird things started happening, and that's when I came out of this hypnotic state and started focusing on the story. So, what is this book about? It mainly follows two characters. The first one is a 15-year-old boy who takes on name Kafka Tamura and runs away from home to escape a prophecy. The back of the book mentions what kind of prophecy it was, but I'm not going to mention it here. If you want to know what kind of book it was before picking it up, please see the back of the book or check the premise. So in Goodreads, you will get decent idea of what kind of things this book is going to explore. The basic outline of Kafka's storyline is a retelling of popular story from Greek mythology. So Kafka runs away from home and goes to a new town. Kafka is a very organized person. Even as a runaway, he leads a very disciplined life. He's a reader, so he visits libraries and he goes to them regularly. One day he visits a private library and there he meets an assistant librarian called Oshima. They quickly become good friends and Oshima helps Kafka in different things. The other main character is an old man called Nakata who lives alone and has an ability to talk to cats. Because of an event in Nakata's childhood, he cannot read or write. He's little slow, but he can talk to cats. He survives on the subsidy from the government and he also gets some money by finding missing cats in the neighborhood. Both Kafka and Nakata storylines run parallel, they are interconnected. Both are alone and they don't have any loving family members. Kafka's mother abandons him when he was 4 and his father doesn't give him any attention. Nakata's parents are dead and his brother helps him in setting an apartment to live in. That's all, he lives alone. But same as Kafka, Nakata also finds a companion who helps in his journey. Murakami does a decent job of fleshing out these characters. His writing style is very vivid. He gives details of everything character does. He gives details of everything characters eat. I enjoyed that. I am a slow reader. I imagine everything I read, so it's easy for me to imagine things Murakami is saying. But I understand why some people doesn't like his writing, and I also like Murakami's approach to the story. I haven't read any philosophy, so I'm very fascinated by this approach in this book. We get that more in Kafka's perspective. Oshima, the assistant librarian, is an avid reader. He talks every subject in philosophical tone. Whatever Kafka shares with him, his deepest secrets, Oshima doesn't ridicule him. He tries to understand and he tries to reason. He always quotes characters from Greek myths. I enjoyed their conversations a lot, and that's the main reason I loved the first half of this book. I wanted to know more about Oshima, but Kafka's perspective is in first person, so we get to know Oshima only through Kafka's perspective. In the second half of the book, weird things started happening. Actually, even in the first half, something inappropriate happens, but I forgot that Kafka is a 15-year-old at that time. Later, when weird things started happening in second half, that's when I realized, okay, this is a 15-year-old kid. While the subject itself is weird, I don't think Murakami's writing style helped him here. The sex scenes are very uncomfortable to read. Because of that, I preferred Nakata's storyline in the second half. Nakata's companion, the easygoing Hoshino, added lot of life, especially in the last 50 pages. Nakata's perspective is in third person, so we get to know more about Hoshino. Also, the audiobook narrator did a fantastic job with Hoshino. One of the main themes of this book is the concept of souls traveling between our world and another world, souls traveling between different bodies. I understand some of them. But Murakami introduced new concept to me in this book. I think that is specific to Japanese mythology. I'm okay with believing anything as long as it is explained in the book. I don't mind open-ended storylines. It will be fun to draw our own conclusions. But I don't think this soul soul traveling is explained properly in this book, which I'll get into detail in spoiler section. Overall, I loved the first half of the book and I have pacing issues in the second half, and I'm also not comfortable with some things which I'll get into in spoiler section. I can't decide what to rate this book. Whenever I think of the conversations in the book, I want to give it 5 stars, and whenever I think of some scenes in the second half, I want to give it only 3 stars. So for now, I decided to give it 4 stars until I reread it, or until I have some discussion with other people. Now I get into spoilers where I discuss my issues and my analysis of open-ended storylines. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, please leave. Thank you for watching. Let's jump right into my first issue, which is Kafka sleeping with Misaki. I understand Murakami added extra layer here where Misaki's lover's soul is in Kafka. That's the reason Kafka instantly wants to be with her. I understand that and I try to overlook that, and it would have worked for me if Kafka isn't 15-year-old. My second issue is Kafka raping Sakura. I have multiple problems here. The first one is direct raping, but my biggest issue is with the way Murakami tried to justify this action. He mentioned that Kafka wants to take control of his life back. He wants this prophecy to be over. That's the reason he did it. While I understand the sentiment behind Kafka taking control of his life, it doesn't justify the act. And my third problem here, Murakami introduced the concept of taking responsibility of her dreams. Kafka himself came up with this concept where responsibility begins in dreams. But after this particular dream, I didn't see him thinking about these lines. Also, I did not understand why Kafka thinks Sakura is his sister. I don't see any connection other than her age. Sakura talked about her parents, talked about running away from her home. So I don't think it is his real sister. Maybe his sister's soul was in Sakura. This is where I'm little confused. I understood the concept of a living soul. I understand the theory behind Misaki being Kafka's mom, but we don't get any theory behind Sakura being Kafka's sister. I would have preferred some details there. Now coming to my theories, I think the shape came out of Nakata after his death is the soul of Johnny Walker. I think his soul went into him after his death. Initially, I thought that's the force which drove Nakata to the entrance stone because the soul wants to enter the another world. But if that's the case, I did not understand why Colonel Sanders helped finding entrance stone. I think Colonel Sanders or whoever it was, they want things to go back to normal. They want Miss Psyche to be dead, but I don't think they want Johnny Walker to enter the world. So I think they help till then. At the same time, they want that evil soul to be stopped. And my second theory is about the crow. I don't think it's exactly my theory. Initially, when I read the book, I thought the crow is the soul. But after reading the book, I googled, it said the crow in Japanese mythology means divine intervention or divine messenger. So I think that's the divine intervention that helped Kafka to run away from home to fulfill his prophecy. And about the teacher who was involved in the rice bowl incident, her husband went to war. I could be wrong, but I think one of the soldiers at the end is the husband of the teacher. I could be totally wrong. If you have a different theory, please let me know in comments. Please make sure to mention spoilers if there are any. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.